I billed that gate at $46,800. The same gate the HOA fined me for. The same design they now brag about in their newsletter like it's their crown jewel. They called mine too modern. Now the whole neighborhood drives through it. I'm Jake, structural engineer. Moved into Sagebrush Grove 3 years ago when my wife got pregnant. I wanted a corner lot. Somewhere we could raise our daughter without street noise. We found this place, gated community, mature trees, cul-de-sac vibe. First thing I did after moving in: replaced the flimsy iron gate that came with the house. Welded it myself. Sleek, matte black steel. No frills, just function. It looked clean. Secure. That's when the letters started. The first citation called it aesthetic incongruence. A $150 fine. Then another, unauthorized alteration of exterior architecture. This time, $500. I thought it was a mistake. I'd submitted renderings. Got no response, so I assumed silence meant approval. Classic rookie mistake. When I tried to appeal, the Architectural Review Committee said their hands were tied. We're just enforcing the CC and RS, they said. The same CC and RS that hadn't been updated since 1996. But I wasn't the only one. A week later, my neighbor Rachel got fined for repainting her trim eggshell instead of beige. Then came the pressure washing citations. Then the mailboxes. I started asking around. That's when someone slipped me a copy of a board memo, dated before my first citation. It listed 10 homes marked for uniformity enforcement. Mine was circled in red. Knowledge nugget number 1: HOAs are legally allowed to create targeted enforcement plans, but they must notify affected homeowners in writing. If they don't, it's a breach of contract. One night, at 1:30 a.m., I heard something. Click. Then a hiss. Someone was spraying something near my driveway. It was graffiti. On my gate. Ugly metal junk. Spray painted in neon pink. I reported it to the HOA. They said it was outside their jurisdiction. 2 days later, I got a violation for unsightly vandalism. The irony was unbearable. But something didn't add up. The HOA president, Glenn Yost, didn't even live inside the gates. He lived in the adjacent neighborhood, technically outside the HOA, but owned 3 properties inside it, all rented. So he used his properties to vote in board elections, like a slumlord king. Then I found the bank records. Buried in the annual report, a $72,000 line item labeled Security Upgrade, Phase 1. No vendors listed. No invoices attached. But there was a receipt buried in a PDF folder. One from a local landscaping firm, signed off by Glenn's brother-in-law. Phase 1. A decorative archway at the main entrance. Projected renderings matched my gate almost exactly. They'd copied my design. Filed it as their own. Used HOA funds to build it. Knowledge nugget number 2. Any HOA architectural project over $25,000 requires member vote approval in California. If it's skipped, members can file for injunctive relief and force a forensic audit. That's what I did. Hired a lawyer. Served the board. Glenn tried to laugh it off. Said I was emotionally attached to my weird little door. Until I CC'd the state licensing board. The firm that signed off on Phase 1. Not licensed for structural design. Which made the gate, and the archway, a public liability risk. It didn't stop there. The landscape firm also billed for remediation work on the adjacent hillside. But the hillside wasn't zoned for HOA landscaping. I pulled county records. The land belonged to the EPA. It was part of a federally protected runoff corridor. They dumped concrete on protected soil. Without permits. Without disclosure. The moment the EPA showed up, everything went quiet. Screenshot this clause and tag a friend who needs HOA armor. Section 4765 of the Davis-Sterling Act, members may withhold dues in response to material contract fraud. Then came the heat. Emails from anonymous accounts. Back off or we'll start fining by the inch. Someone keyed my truck. Another dumped dead plants on Rachel's porch. But word was getting out. 3 more homeowners joined our audit request. Then 6. Then 12. We formed our own committee. Rachel had a background in property law. Trevor was an accountant. Marcy, a retired court reporter. Together, we started a petition to dissolve the board. But the final straw came from someone inside. A former board secretary emailed me screenshots. Meeting minutes. Private votes. One phrase stood out. Gate redesign modeled off Lot 17's unauthorized steel structure. Lot 17. That's me. They hadn't just copied my design. They had planned to fine me while stealing the idea. We went public. Local paper picked it up. Suburban engineer accuses HOA of design theft. Channel 6 showed up the next week. The news van parked right in front of the archway. By that time, the EPA had already issued a cease and desist. And the county was sniffing around for unlicensed contract work. Glenn was nowhere to be seen. At the next board meeting, packed with homeowners, Rachel read a statement. Then Trevor handed the property manager a signed motion. 34 out of 42 homeowners voted to suspend the board pending audit. Knowledge nugget number 3. In most states, a 75% homeowner vote can force the removal of HOA board members, even midterm. Glenn's meltdown came 2 days later. He stormed into the clubhouse, shouting about witch hunts and communist takeovers. Threw a binder at Marcy. Police escorted him out. We found out later. He had already wired $18,000 from the HOA account to a shell company under his sister's name. That money was never recovered. But what we did recover was control. The gate? I got paid full market rate. Reclassified as a community integration asset. Rachel now chairs the new design committee. We updated the CC and RS. Beige is officially out. And the hillside? Replanted with native flora, certified by the EPA. Funny thing is, the new board wanted to upgrade the front signage. So they asked me to do it. I agreed. But I etched 3 words into the steel plaque: small, subtle. Inspired by Lot 17. They never noticed. But I hope Glenn did. Speech balloon, drop a comment if you've ever been fined for something ridiculous. Let's build a playbook. Next week, the city that tried to seize a solar farm because it didn't match the skyline. Stay sharp.